Now I know you might be thinking, what else could be still interesting after having seen the superphone, the Mi 11 Ultra and the 75-inch QLED TV, which I truly believe is the theatre of tomorrow. Well, I believe that the next product in line from the Mi lineup is equally interesting, if not more. I am here to talk about the brand new X series, which we are adding under the Mi smartphone portfolio today. The X series to us is a set of refined, practical flagships which are thin and light, carry the top-of-the-line processor and display panels to amplify your everyday experiences. These practical flagships are built on a newer set of principles that keeps in mind the ever-evolving needs of our modern-day consumers. This time around, we wanted to bring you a device that breaks the monotony of the flagship segment and lets you experience a breath of fresh tech. We are launching two new smartphones under the Mi 11X series, the Mi 11X and the Mi 11X Pro. Let me start by telling you that these two phones share a lot of good things in common. The gorgeous flagship E4 AMOLED display, which has been spoken about a lot, the stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos support, IP rating and its gorgeous new design. But the same goodness is shared and offered in two different processor and camera configurations. Now you may ask, why two different phones? The simple answer is more choices for our Mi fans. These configuration changes, if you look at it, are unlike a RAM module swap to move up from an 4GB RAM to an 8GB RAM. These are actually hardware level changes and thus result in two different phones. Now I understand that smartphone product launches can sometimes get a bit overwhelming. So, for the sake of simplicity, going forward, we will call out the names of the smartphones on the side while we speak about a particular variant. A couple of days back, I read a very interesting quote on the internet that goes like, "Everything is designed. Few things are designed well." This was around the same time when I was learning more about the Mi 11X series, and this quote actually stayed with me. With the Mi 11X series, we have spent a lot of time going over the numerous ways in which we could have designed this phone. These considerations have resulted in an offering unlike any other from the house of Mi. Both the phones of the Mi 11X series are built on the same design principle. Let's start by taking a closer look at the form factor and the build that is identical across these two smartphones. In the first glance itself, you will notice how refined this design is. On the back, you will see a brand new elongated camera housing with elements inside distributed even more evenly to give you a cleaner look. The camera housing also now sits almost flushed into the body, which reduces the chances of accidental scratches and adds to that overall premium hand feel. Another subtle yet striking detail that we bet you can't ignore is a cosmetic touch near the main camera sensor. We are calling this the halo ring, which in my opinion gives an overall personality to this already confident design. Another crucial element is the color of the device itself. With the Mi 11X series, you get three classic yet fresh color options to choose from. Our flagship color, Celestial Silver. Now this color has been a conversation starter amongst family and friends because its appearance varies every time. Now to build this color, we took a different approach. Instead of playing with solid colors like red and blue, we made the base of this color a mix of gradient red and gradient blue. With varying lighting conditions, it refracts a varied gradient of that color composition which is unique every single time. Now if you are someone who appreciates intelligent design, I am sure you will love this. In addition to this, the Mi 11X series will also be available in two more colors, Lunar White and the Cosmic Black. Now if you are someone who loves a frosted matte finish, you can choose from Celestial Silver and Lunar White. The first time you will hold this device, you will also notice how light it is. I know the definition of light has changed over a period of time with larger sensors and bigger batteries adding to the bulk, but we have managed to reduce the overall weight yet pack in the same goodness on battery and camera performance. Weighing just 196 grams, it is 22 grams lighter than our 2020 flagship, which was the Mi 10. It is not just the weight that you will notice, you will also notice how thin the overall profile is. At just 7.8 mm thin, the X series devices are around half a millimeter thinner than the recently launched OnePlus 9 series devices. As a package, you will immediately notice that the thinner profile merged with a lightweight chassis and a 3D curved back just enhances the overall hand feel. Now, I have seen so many Mi fans asking for a slim and light flagship smartphone. I think this series, the X series, is an answer to all those wishes. While design is an important aspect of our experience, displays actually define the most of it. Having seen and learned more about the design and the build of the Mi 11X series, let us now see what makes the display of the Mi 11X series a display of excellence. The displays on the Mi 11X and the Mi 11X Pro are identical. Just like the Mi 11 Ultra, we are also bringing the flagship grade E4 AMOLED display to the X series. Now, I call the E4 a flagship display for a variety of reasons. Let me just take you through it. At 1300 nits peak brightness, this is one of the brightest displays on today's flagships. A brighter display leads to a better, uncompromised viewing experience under harsh lighting conditions or even under direct sun for that matter. The E4 panel also offers better viewing angles, which adds to an overall pleasant experience. With 120 Hz of refresh rate and 360 Hz of touch sampling, this flagship display is also the smoothest and the most accurate when it comes to touch response. The UI overall feels smooth, it's fluid than ever, and everything seems to move seamlessly. The important thing to note here is the support of 3-finger 360 Hz of touch sampling rate, which allows for faster response or operations in high FPS games. Now, no guesses here. The Mi 11X series displays are also HDR10 Plus compliant. Unlike HDR10, which has color and brightness settings fixed on all frames, HDR10 Plus treats each frame of the video for color, brightness and contrast parameters. This real-time processing delivers lifelike viewing experience through dynamic tone mapping of each and every frame. Now, before I go on talking more about this flagship display, like I mentioned earlier, the focus of the X series was to create a more practical flagship. Across the entire tech community, we have always seen the battle between curved displays versus flat displays. Some people preferred the curved display, whereas some went for flat displays as they were more practical and reduced ghost touches. Now, we were listening all along. And as we have always said that we work with our communities across the globe before we define any product. With the Mi 11X series in particular, we are introducing an option that a majority of our users prefer, a flat display, which helps in reducing ghost touch and is considered more practical. Now, you might not have noticed the notch, which is how we intend to keep things. This here is one of the industry's smallest punch hole implementations, measuring at just 2.76 mm. Now, it is so tiny that I know it is difficult to visualize it. So let me put this in comparison with a few other competition flagship devices. We believe that this is a small step towards delivering a more immersive video and gaming experience, allowing you to almost ignore the front camera. The display on the Mi 11X series is also one of the most color accurate displays you will come across amongst today's flagship smartphones. The numbers which you see on your screen are two metrics which are used to define how color accurate your display is. Just noticeable color difference and delta E figures here, which are well below 1, represents that there is almost no noticeable difference in color between your display and the original source. To further fine-tune this beautiful display, we are also adding a dedicated ambient light sensor on board to basically map the brightness and color temperature of your surroundings. With the help of the sensor, the phone can automatically understand and calibrate the brightness as well as the color temperature of your display to your overall surrounding. By the way, the adjustments on the color temperature on the screen to the color temperature of your ambient light also helps in reducing eye strain. The new E4 grade AMOLED display also consumes less power, which is up to 15%, while delivering a rich viewing experience. Now, in a scheme of things where all components are power hungry, it's good to see a component delivering a visual treat, quite literally, yet optimizing on battery life. While we were at making the best display in the game, we also built a small something which I know all our fans will appreciate. I'm sure that you would have landed in a situation where you want to watch a video on YouTube or even natively, but because of the low-res file being hosted or being available on your device, you have ended up just listening to that video rather than watching. Now, we have tried fixing this with Super Resolution. Super Resolution automatically detects low-resolution content and uses artificial intelligence to make the picture sharper in real time. Now, by optimizing sharpness and shadowing of the content, you will see finer results without even realizing. Now, a display this good had to bring in some awards. To our surprise, it set 11 records and rated A+ under extensive display tests conducted by DisplayMate. Now, most people will just stop at showing you this A+ rating, but we are so confident of this display that we want to show you its full potential. Across measurements from image shift to peak luminance to absolute color accuracy, this display outperforms every single time. Complementing this flagship display is also a dedicated stereo speaker setup. The 11X series brings Dolby Atmos for the very first time to the lineup of Mi smartphones in India to deliver a premium audio experience. As you know already, Dolby Atmos is a surround sound technology that brings 3D cinematic experience over both headphones and stereo speakers. It helps in delivering richer audio experience for movies, music, and even voice. The device also supports high-resolution audio over both wired and wireless connections. That said, I believe the coolest new feature which comes with the Mi 11X Pro in terms of audio is Bluetooth stacking, which allows you to play audio on two connected devices at the same time. Now, this means that you can have two sets of wireless earbuds connected and playing at the same time, which is great whenever you are traveling or working out with your friend, or for streaming audio to separate speakers in separate rooms. Now, I spoke earlier that the Mi 11X series devices are thin and light devices. But then, does it compromise on battery performance? Does it? Actually, no. It offers a 4520 milliamp hour battery which goes from 0 to 100 in less than an hour and 0 to 50% in a whopping 19 minutes with a 33 watt charger in box which supports dual split charge. Now, you might ask, what's that? What's dual split charge? Now, both you and I know that passing large amounts of current for rapid charging continuously over days and months hampers the overall lifetime of a battery. We built a new way to charge the battery faster, but by splitting the flow of current into two instead of just passing the current from one side. By doing this, we achieve faster charge cycles without affecting the overall longevity of the battery and delivering a reliable overall experience over years. The Mi 11X series also carries an official IP53 rating which adds further protection against dust and limited water resistance. This means that even if dust enters the smartphone, which can be a common scenario, it cannot affect the inner workings of your smartphone. Every year, we see millions of devices getting affected by dust ingress, and I believe an official IP rating on your next flagship smartphone makes a lot of sense. IP53 also adds limited water resistance against spraying water, which can be a situation in showers, near the pool, but with no pressure. These flagship phones also feature Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back to take care of those unintended bumps and offers better scratch resistance. Up until now, I have spoken all about the similarities between the Mi 11X and the Mi 11X Pro, which are appearing on your screen right now. Now that you know the similarities between these two devices, let's now talk about the differences. Starting with the Mi 11X Pro. Mi 11X Pro shares the same top-of-the-line Qualcomm Snapdragon 888, which also appears on the superphone, the Mi 11 Ultra, which Manu covered in detail during his presentation. This 800 series 5G chipset can actually transform your device into a professional quality camera with its computer vision ISP, an intelligent personal assistant with its 6th generation AI engine, which we also call as Hexagon 780, and an elite gaming ring powered by the largest Cortex CPU, the X1. All connected with truly global 5G multi-gigabit speed for the premium experiences that you deserve. Compared to the previous generation, the 888 renders graphics up to 35% faster. Like I mentioned before, the 888 also features the 6th generation AI engine, which is Hexagon 780, which delivers up to 26 trillion operations per second. Now, you have heard the term AI so many times, but you still might ask, where exactly is the AI engine useful? If you use any of these features on your phone shown on the screen right now, you are tapping into the AI engine of your processor. On board, along with the Snapdragon 888, the performance is further boosted by using UFS 3.1 as the memory standard and LPDDR5 RAM. In India, the Mi 11X Pro will be available in two variants, 8GB RAM and 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage, and 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Your Mi 11X Pro is also a future-ready device with its integrated X65G model. Once 5G is rolled out in India, you can use 5G SIM cards on both the SIM slots. Dual SIM standby functionality on 5G basically allows you to seamlessly switch between two carriers to get the best experience. In addition to that, you also see the support for Wi-Fi 6E. Now here, the E stands for enhanced, which further reduces latency and delivers superior performance in terms of coverage and speed. Now, before we move on to Mi 11X, let's talk about the studio level cameras on the Mi 11X Pro. The Mi 11X Pro features the flagship 3rd generation HM2 108 megapixel sensor. Now, because of this sensor being the largest amongst the competition, it captures more light per pixel, and merged with the future of computational photography, the Spectra 580 ISP, it can deliver some outstanding results. Even under challenging lighting conditions, the sensor automatically moves to a bigger pixel size by joining 9 surrounding pixels. It helps capture more light in limited time to again deliver some sharp looking shots. With the Mi 11X Pro, you can also shoot 8K footage and 4K footage up to 60 frames per second. By the way, and before we miss it, you might have noticed this tiny speck here. That tiny speck is the 3rd microphone, which, while shooting videos, helps with cutting out the frequencies captured already by the primary microphone and the noise cancelling microphone, and focuses only on what matters the most, your subject. Now, without this feature, a typical smartphone would be forced to capture all resulting frequencies, which we both know sounds absolutely terrible. Coming back to the primary 108 megapixel sensor, it is now complemented by an ultra-wide camera fitted with a wide 119-degree field of view lens to capture the bigger picture. Now, from going wide to going closer. The last lens on this camera housing is a 50mm telemacro lens, which has the power of capturing stories from a much closer and a much intimate perspective. We are also introducing night mode across all the cameras, which has been a big ask from our community. Not just that, we are also introducing a brand new feature which completely redefines the video making experience under challenging lighting conditions. Ultra night video is a result of a big algorithm when run together can produce some never seen results shot on a smartphone. With the world moving fast towards video content, it also pushes us as a team to introduce brand new camera features and fuel our users' creativity. While we have retained your favorite features like long exposure and magic clone, we are also adding a brand new feature called movie effects. With 6 different modes such as magic zoom and time freeze, we are sure that your Mi 11X Pro would be buzzing with incoming likes. You will also see the brand new Pro time-lapse feature, which gives you greater control in terms of shutter speed, ISO and white balance. On the front, you get a 20 megapixel selfie camera with electronic image stabilization and front voice focus feature to deliver crisper vocals even in selfie videos. The next in line flagship, and we believe the dominator this segment has been waiting for, is the Mi 11X. The Mi 11X features the brand new Qualcomm Snapdragon 870 from the top tier 800 series of Qualcomm Snapdragon chipsets. Now this chip is fast. With a dedicated prime core clocked at 3.2 GHz, it just blazes through the day-to-day tasks. Clocked at 3.2 GHz, this prime core is also the fastest when compared against the flagship chipsets which are available in the market today. If we just compare it with the 2020 flagship processor, which was the Snapdragon 865, the 2021 Snapdragon 870 delivers up to 12% better CPU performance. Not just that, you can also expect up to 10% further improvement on GPU performance. I mean, just look at these benchmarking scores. A brand new chip delivering some outstanding results. The memory and the RAM standards remain the same across the board. The ultra-fast UFS 3.1 and LPDDR5 RAM, which we also saw earlier being utilized on the Mi 11 Ultra and the Mi 11X Pro. The Mi 11X will be available in two variants in India: 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, and 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Let's talk cameras on the Mi 11X. It features a 48 megapixel Sony IMX582 as the primary camera, which is supported by an 8 megapixel ultra-wide and a 5 megapixel tele-macro in a triple camera setup. Extending our commitment of Make in India, I can also proudly say that these devices have been made in India for the world. The Mi 11X will also carry localized support for dual assistants, which will allow the user to set up a voice assistant of their choice, and will also carry support for Navic, which is an independent regional navigation satellite system being developed in India. Let's now talk about pricing and availability before I hand it over to Manu to sum up today's mega launch event. The pricing for the Mi 11X 6 GB plus 128 GB variant is 29,999 only. And the pricing for the Mi 11X 8 GB RAM and 128 GB storage is just 31,999 only. Now let's talk about the pricing for the Mi 11X Pro. The 8 GB plus 128 GB variant will be available in India starting at a price of 39,999 only. And the pricing for Mi 11X Pro 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB storage is just rupees 41,999 only.